Have you ever wondered why the nitrates in bacon and sausage are linked to cancer, but the nitrates in a stalk of celery are completely safe? If you look at the packaging of any cured meat in your refrigerator, you'll notice a warning about these chemical preservatives. Major health organizations treat them with extreme caution. But here is a bizarre puzzle. A single serving of fresh celery or spinach often contains far more nitrates than a slice of bacon. In fact, about 80% of the nitrates in our daily diet come from vegetables, not meat. So, why does one threaten your health while the other is considered a superfood? To understand this, we have to look at what happens inside the body. On their own, nitrates are harmless. When you eat celery or red beets, your body converts them into a compound called nitric oxide. This relaxes your blood vessels, improves blood flow, and lowers your blood pressure. The danger only begins when nitrates turn into a completely different group of highly toxic compounds called nitrosamines. For these cancer-causing particles to form, you need a specific combination of 3 ingredients: nitrites, an abundant source of protein building blocks called amines, and intense dry heat. Vegetables never create these toxic compounds because nature gave them a massive defensive shield. Vitamin C, natural plant polyphenols, and dietary fiber. Vitamin C and polyphenols act as chemical blockers, stopping nitrites from ever bonding into harmful compounds. Plus, the dietary fiber in the vegetable matrix changes how your gut processes these elements, speeding up digestion and preventing toxic compounds from accumulating. Finally, vegetables completely lack heme iron, the specific type of iron found in red meat that acts as a powerful catalyst to aggressively speed up this bad reaction. But let's think about how we actually eat in the real world. What happens when we mix things up? Imagine you are eating a fresh salad with raw celery, but right after, you eat a piece of chicken or you have chicken sliced directly into the salad. Won't the nitrates from the celery and the protein from the meat mix together in your stomach anyway? Technically, yes, they do mingle in your gastric juices, but the real-world risk is still practically zero. First, because the salad is raw, the vitamin C and polyphenols are fully active and undamaged, ready to block any harmful bonding. Second, white meat like chicken contains almost no heme iron. Without that iron catalyst to spark the reaction, the chemical fusion required to create nitrosamines is incredibly weak and slow. But what about cooked meals? Cooking destroys vitamin C. Take a traditional soup like Russian borscht, which boils red beets and beef together for hours, or a classic Chinese stir-fry where celery is tossed into a scorching hot wok with chicken. If the heat destroys the protective vitamin C, doesn't that make these dishes dangerous? Let's look at the soup first. Yes, boiling beets for hours degrades the water-soluble vitamin C. And yes, the nitrates from the beets are boiling right alongside the proteins from the beef. However, the safety lies in the cooking method. Boiling water has a strict temperature cap of 100 degrees Celsius. Nitrosamine formation explodes exponentially at high, dry temperatures, specifically above 130 degrees Celsius. Simmering a soup simply doesn't provide enough thermal energy to force those chemical bonds to form, keeping the beef and beets perfectly safe. Now, what about the Chinese stir-fry? In a wok, the temperature is much higher than boiling water. But a stir-fry introduces a different defense: time. A stir-fry is a lightning-fast cooking method. The celery and chicken are only exposed to that high heat for a few quick minutes. Most importantly, the natural plant fiber is still fully intact, keeping the nitrates safely trapped within the vegetable's cell walls during the short cooking window. This brings us to why processed meat is entirely unique and why it completely bypasses all of these natural safety guards. When a factory makes industrial bacon, hot dogs, or salami, they use pure, highly concentrated chemical sodium nitrite. They rub or inject this straight into the meat. This means the nitrites and the meat proteins are locked together in a highly concentrated state. Not for a few minutes in a wok, but for days or weeks during the curing process. They have unlimited time to pre-bond at a molecular level before you even buy them. To make matters worse, processed meats contain no vitamin C or plant polyphenols to stop the reaction. But they do contain a massive amount of heme iron to accelerate it. Finally, think about how we cook bacon. We don't gently simmer it at 100 degrees. We drop it onto a dry, screaming hot frying pan at 180 to 200 degrees Celsius. Or we char hot dogs over an open flame. This combination of concentrated chemical pre-bonding, a lack of antioxidants, a high iron catalyst, and scorching dry heat creates the absolute perfect storm for massive nitrosamine production. Understanding this chemical process allows you to spot a major marketing trap at the grocery store today. Meats labeled uncured or no nitrates added. If you turn those packages over and read the fine print, you will almost always see ingredients like celery powder or celery juice concentrate. Scientifically, this is identical to traditional chemical curing. Food manufacturers take natural celery, extract its natural nitrates, and chemically process them into a highly concentrated powder. By turning the celery into an isolated industrial powder, manufacturers strip away the protective fiber, the live vitamins, and the antioxidants. When this concentrated powder is applied to commercial meat and fried in a hot pan, it creates the exact same carcinogenic nitrosamines as synthetic sodium nitrite. It's chemical curing wearing a green health mask. But wait, if this chemical reaction is so dangerous, can we solve it by switching to chicken bacon or turkey hot dogs? While it's true, poultry has less heme iron to accelerate the reaction, industrial poultry bacons are still subjected to the exact same concentrated chemical nitrites and high heat frying, meaning they still generate nitrosamines. Even throughout human history, our ancestors avoided this modern trap. Ancient civilizations used unrefined rock salt, or saltpeter, which is potassium nitrate. This was a slow-release compound that relied on natural ambient bacteria to slowly convert over months, leaving very low residual amounts. More importantly, our ancestors didn't live long enough to accumulate chronic cancer cells. They used nitrates as a vital survival tool to avoid dying of immediate, deadly food poisoning like botulism. Plus, they historically air-dried or steamed their cured meats rather than frying them to a crisp. You now understand that nitrates aren't a simple black and white villain. When wrapped in the fibrous, antioxidant-rich shield of a whole vegetable, or cooked gently in a traditional home soup or a fast stir-fry, they are completely safe and highly beneficial. The danger belongs entirely to the modern industrial landscape of chemical pre-bonding, stripped-away plant defenses, and intense frying pan heat. Keep enjoying your fresh salads, your comforting soups, and your crisp vegetable stir-fries. Nature designed them beautifully. Just keep a cautious eye on the frying pan when it comes to processed meats.